What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast. Today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Gav episode 21. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
Pretty good, Josh. Josh, have you ever thought about dropping your little rhyming moniker?
Like, maybe, sure. Why? You have a better one for me?
No, I was just thinking about it. So I feel like it used to be more like your names for things,
I used to be
like
more
your
into it.
like your business name. I feel like it used to like rhyme better for that stuff. I
Yeah.
feel like you've toned back to Uber geeking a little bit. So I
I
don't know if I don't know if you need to drop the moniker. Just conversating with you.
No, I feel like doing a podcast based on an obscure Japanese children's TV show is the most uber geek that I've ever been.
That is a second way to look at it.
No, I started doing the uber geek stuff when I was doing the Pretty Decent, like the daily like pop culture show, because I was trying to figure out a way to like give myself credentials that made it legit for why I was doing this, right? Like, why should you listen to me? Uh, and that was an easy shorthand to be like, it's because I know things. It's like that scene when Ron Swanson goes and tells the guy like, "Don't talk to me. I know more than you." at like the Home Depot store or whatever. It's kind of like that. I was trying to be like, no, I just know things. This
just
is
flex,
this is
just
what I do.
flexing the cred.
Yeah. Plus, it rhymed. It was fun to say. It was easier to just saying my name. So I said it, and then so now whenever there's a microphone in front of me, I just end up saying it that way. um,
Have you ever thought about? I forget if we talked about this before. Have you ever thought about like how long you've been in front of microphoning?
oh yeah, definitely. I was thinking about this the other day actually. That like, yeah, I've been been recording some form of a podcast or something for yeah, a very long time, since probably my sophomore year of college, I think, is when I sent in that first demo tape to you. um it's been a long time. Yeah, if people don't know, I guess, all of our history, you and I met because you guys were starting a wrestling podcast, and I sent in an audition tape, basically like a demo tape to try to be on it. And I guess you liked whatever you heard enough
I remember
because you
listening.
talked to me.
Yeah, like
I talked about, I did a whole segment about Cody Rhodes' dashing character. So I am old school, loving Cody Rhodes clearly from the very beginning.
and so like it's funny because like so tied to that, the only reason I got so it wasn't my thing. So it was someone else's idea. But they were like, we want to make a podcast, and I would have already been. I think I was too deep already, like the number two deep of like I did one, I stopped
Yeah.
it. I did one, I stopped it. So when they're like, "Oh, we're doing a podcast," I was like, "Well, I've put them together before." And this was back in the old days of like trying to sync up Audacity and doing all sorts of other dumb bullshit. But it's like I was thinking about it, and like I've almost at this point in my life have been doing microphone things for literally half my old life, and
Yeah.
that seems crazy to me. Like pretty much since the advent of podcasts, give or take, I've been doing some sort of podcast or YouTube thing. It's just really weird for me to think about how many things I've talked about to the ether that I don't know if people actually know or not.
Yeah. I guess I've been doing mine for like more than half, right? No, it would have been basically exactly half at this point. Because I would have started around, yeah, it's about half. Yeah. uh that is crazy to think about. And it's been through, yeah, through a lot of different iterations and stuff. It's a thing where it's like you don't think about it as a skill that you're building while you're doing it here, but it is a weird thing where it took like me, who was and still is like a very awkward um potentially very quiet person, and it gave me the ability to like talk to people a bit more than I did before, and like it's helped me in work stuff, right? Like I can uh just the other day I gave a
I walked into a
presentation.
meeting and I was like, "I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and this is
I
why you need whatever."
I didn't say it was Josh Make the Uber Geek, but I had to give a presentation to my entire company. So like in front of hundreds of people, and like that was no big deal. But like it would have been when I was younger, right? Like that would have been very
I like
nerve wracking, and now like it's not a big deal at all, and I don't care.
yeah, like everyone hates public speaking, so I feel
Yeah,
like if it helped with that crush, that's fine. And like it's funny because the one night I would like, I mean, most people I think know, especially if you're in like in the Discord. But like, I do bar trivia with my friends like every week or every other week. And the one time, the DJ lady, I made some joke, and she was like, "Do you want to tell your joke to everyone?" Kind of like a teacher, but
yeah.
not really. And I was like, "Sure, I don't care." And like, she kind of gave me a weird look, and I was like, "She's like, are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't care." So like, I got the mic at the bar, told my stupid joke, let it go, and like, she laughed, and everyone like laughed politely, I'm sure. But she was like, "Everyone give Toby credit. It's hard to do that." To like get in front of people and like speak. And I thought about it, and I'm like, speaking into a microphone is probably more natural for me than like
Yeah.
not speaking into a microphone at this point.
It's like a shield. Like you know, you sort of get to that point of like, yeah, if I'm holding the microphone, I it's more comforting sometimes, like being the person who has the attention, because then you're commanding the thing. You're in charge. Where if you're just like if I'm just like at a party, then it's like awkward, right? Like, what do I do? Who do I talk to? But if we're like, if I'm like the one on the stage, well, then I'm in charge and I'm the one who gets to decide what happens, and that's like weirdly more comforting to me. My brain is broken because of all this stuff. Yeah,
Like I think mine works like that too, where like I'm really weird about attention in like the set like I'm an extroverted introvert, I think.
yeah,
And it's like my main thing is I'll accept all the attention, but it has to be when I want the attention and not just like make me do the thing. Like I
sure.
have to be ready to do the thing, and then I'll give a shit and act stupid. And like it's funny with the podcast thing too, or like the YouTube thing or whatever. Like you and I haven't made this joke for a while now, but it's a real thing where I Tobes-amble about a story. And like if you haven't heard us use that phrase before, it's because I feel the need to over explain the shit out of myself before I even tell a story. And I was explaining it to someone else the other day, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, this is definitely a podcast issue where I'm so used to trying to like I can't just tell a short story because like you're trying to provide content, you're trying to explain as good as possible, theater of the mind, all that dumb bullshit. But I definitely like tell stories in a slower or more drawn out way now with more details, I guess, to the point where my friends in real life have given me a hard time here and there of like I would start telling a story and I said like, "Oh, do you want a short story, a quick story?" To the point where they go, "I know it's not going to be short," or like, "Don't do it the long way. Like, either make it short or just don't even start telling me." So I know it's all from the podcast thing of like, well, this story could be 30 seconds or the story could be 5 minutes. And for the sake of making a show, having the co-host person be like, have questions to be able to interact with you, you have to drag it out as long as possible. I think that's a funny quirk of doing this for so long.
That is
That's
funny.
completely adjusted my speaking style and like storytelling style kind of thing.
Most people are terrible at telling stories. Like most people's version of a story would be like, "Yeah, I went to the bar and there was a clown there. Weird." But like if you're telling it for like a good story, you drag it out, be like, so it was Wednesday. What do? I do what I always do. I head down to the bar. It's a normal day at the bar. I walk in, I see all the regular people. You'd build it up to the climax of like, and then I turn to my left and what do I see? A motherfucking clown, right? Like you tell it differently because most people
Yeah.
just suck at storytelling. Yeah, I'm with I'm with you there. Uh, that is very different. I so the weirdest thing I think that podcasting has brought me to was doing wrestling commentary for a while. That was a weird one where it's like, oh yeah, this is a weird skill that I've built. Sure, I can translate this very easily into this. Like, let's do wrestling commentary. Sure. And
And
that's one Toby where I also have referred to myself as Josh Meek the Uber Geek. Was it
that
on
like
wrestling commentary?
that one in particular was hilarious to me because that was in the gap when like when you and I weren't talking as much or
Yeah, yeah.
like barely talking. So at one point, like I just noticed your Twitter thing was like so and so wrestling champion one time, and then the other part was like commentary for blah 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 wrestling league. And I was thinking, I was like, I always knew you to be on the shy-ish side, and it was just funny to see like, wow, look at him, like he's a wrestling champ plus does commentary. I was like, look at this guy go.
Look at me soar.
Look at you, soar.
Yeah. It definitely has helped. Yeah, it is a weird thing where it's like, yeah, if you know, most people also wouldn't think and wouldn't be able to do, kind of like what we do basically, where it's like, hey, we're gonna fill up an hour of time talking without like really a script. Like we're gonna talk about the show, but like I don't know, we're not like scripting out what's gonna happen beat to beat or anything. And that's the thing most people wouldn't be able to do is just fill the time and stuff either. So not to pat ourselves on the back, but yeah, we've built up some of these skills over time.
And I think
Eh,
not even tied to like that piece of it specifically. I also think this will be the last back pat, and then we'll progress with this non-scripted storyline. The craziest thing to me is overall, I think you and I have gotten pretty good at not talking over each other, and that's pretty impressive. Surely for the fact that like these aren't video podcasts, these aren't like I can't watch your body cues to be like, oh, I can fill in now because Josh is going to talk. I just kind of like wing it and just kind of works out okay more times than not.
yeah. Is that a thing that bugs you IRL now? Because it bugs the shit out of me IRL. Because people have a real tendency to talk over each other, and that's not anyone in particular. I think that's just a person thing. And doing podcasting has taught me where even if I accidentally do talk over you, I will then instantly lay out to let you finish talking, right? Like, and people IRL do not do that. And I get really annoyed sometimes talking to people of just like, yeah, it was my turn to talk, but okay, fine, go ahead.
It's either that or like when I do the longer versions of the stories. And again, like I'm pretty aware that I'm doing it, but it's like, oh, this is my story. I'm going to tell my story. When people cut in and then jump to the end for me, I guess, or like tell the end of the story, or like keep like adding their own interjections to the story, I definitely get frustrated to the point where like I've definitely told people before, like, am I telling this or yeah? And I'll sit there and get real quiet. And I literally like will stop telling the story until I get them to concede like, no, like I get it. Like you were talking. Okay, I'll let it go. And then I finish my story.
That's awesome.
Josh,
So,
speaking of awesome,
uh-huh.
we're going to talk about the cost of prescription medicine today.
One of my favorite topics. I love it.
So there's some hard facts I think people need to know, and we're going to give people a life hack, so to speak, about the rising costs of prescription medication. Are you ready for this? Are you ready to
I'm
have your
ready.
mind blown?
Blow my mind.
Josh, there's people that can't sleep in this world, and insomnia is a thing. Not being able to sleep is a thing. You know, we all have restless nights. And if you go to your doctor and you're like, I can't sleep, they're going to put you on medication, Josh. And there's things like Lunesta, that's like $12 a pill, which seems insane to me for one night's worth of sleep. $12 a pill. Ambien, $9 a pill. That's a little bit better, but still insane. But Josh, I have the best drug to go to sleep ever. And it's a real
Meth.
cheap deal.
Okay, what is it?
It's called the Comet Riders Patreon. For only $3 a month. That's like 75% off of Lunestra. And that shit will like fuck up your dreams and probably make you shit the bed and everything else. But for only $3 a month at patreon.com/the Comet Riders, we have hours upon hours of content you can listen to fall asleep at a cheap and reasonable rate compared to what the doctors are trying to show you prescription wise.
Yeah, $3 a month versus $12 a night. Like, it's an insane bargain, insane value, Toby.
You'd be stupid not to do it.
You would be. So if you're out there and you're not subscribed, you stupid idiots. What are you even thinking? You know
Are
what?
you
You know
are you
what?
even going to bed? Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
I don't even want you to subscribe because you're that dumb. The fact that you haven't already, don't even bother now. It's not even worth it.
You're
I don't
banned. Whoever you are, you're banned.
I don't want your money. Toby, it sounds like you're speaking from experience. Like maybe you've done this or someone you know has done this.
One of our hottest reviews of this Patreon is filled with things like Watch and Reacts, where we watch old series or even new series. Like we're watching O's right now. We're also watching Boon Boomjer. That's almost done. That show's kind of shit in the bed at the end as well, much like Lunestra might make you. But we have so much content like that. We do crazy unboxings. Like we just opened a box of boop cards that you'll have to pay for the Patreon to see. But there's literally tons and tons of hours where if you just want to hear Josh and my sweet, sweet voices to go to sleep to, you can just, for only $3 a month, you can have that perk.
Indeed, you can. Patreon.com/the comment writers. And it's years of podcast experience. That's the only thing that would teach you how to bleep yourself using only your voice, by the way, like Toby just did. Now that's a master broadcaster.
There's no dump button over here. That's straight from the mouth.
Toby is the dump button.
I'm the walking dump button. I've taken too much Lunestra, so I might listen to my own content and put myself to sleep if I have to.
I'll do it. I'll just watch me. I'll do it. I guess I fall asleep to the yard sometimes, Toby. I'll put my headphones on and fall asleep to the yard.
I'll
I
fall
do it.
asleep as long as the volume is low. I can fall asleep to anything. I get
Sure.
like so yeah, real quick, patreon.com/accountwriters. Only $3 a month for tons of stuff, Minecraft servers, watch reacts, whatever, anything else, all sorts of good stuff. But like any sort of soft voice, it doesn't matter if you're screaming or talking or whatever, I can fall asleep to it as well. And that's always kind of weird to me.
I mean,
Like
it's a comforting thing, right? It's like being slowly whispered to by your favorite parasocial relationship.
my favorite part about like my bedtime watching is I'll just go through my watch later list. But I'm subscribed to so many different like orbs of like content where I'll be watching like a restoration video, which is pure ASMR of like people like doing little sanding noises and then sandblasting and spray paint. And it's real quiet. I'll fall asleep to that. And then like a hardcore song will be up next in the playlist. And the hardcore song will wake me up. And then like I don't panic, but I just like look around real quick and I realize that the warm hum of my tablet is still going. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's definitely bedtime now.
Yeah, now it's time. Now it's time. Uh speaking of what was I gonna say? I completely lost my train of thought there. I have no idea what it was gonna be. Um yeah, I guess we'll just move on because that little brain thought just flew away. It just flittered away right out of my mind, Toby, about about sleeping. I don't know how people ever use the sleep timer on things. Like I have a podcast app that does like sleep timers. And it's like how do you like I know that like it works where like if I fell asleep and then it would shut off before it just played through my entire catalog, right? Like that makes sense, I guess. Where it wouldn't run through my entire my entire queue. But like the idea still is you're gonna fall asleep and miss part of it. So then like you still have to do the work of like rewinding to find the last thing you remember. It just doesn't seem worth it to build in the sleep timer part. That's me. I don't know.
That is a pain in the ass. And like when I'm sure there's still a thing on TVs, but like I've always needed like I need more than white noise. I need like actual like noise to fall asleep.
Okay.
But like a fan won't cut it. I need like television, conversation, like noises. But my brain is wired so weird with that if I had the sleep timer set for 30 minutes and I fell asleep in 20, when the TV turned off,
You'd
my
wake up.
brain would hear the TV turn off and then I would wake up and look at the blank TV. So like I need to realize I'm falling asleep, put myself to be like, okay, I'm going to bed now and turn the television off. Because if not, somehow in my sleep, I hear a silent device turn itself off and then I wake up.
You know what's a weird thing to fall asleep to while you're watching it is anything in a VR headset. I found this out the other day where I was like had my VR headset on, I was watching a movie or something, and I'm just like nodding off in the middle of it. That is disorienting when you like are like half asleep, half groggy, wearing a VR headset. You're just like, what? Where am I? What's going on? Like, what? Why am I on a space station? What is this? Uh, would not recommend. Definitely wear your VR headset when you're fully lucid. Toby, speaking of being fully lucid,
I was going to use
let's
that same transition. That's good.
see fucking professionals over here. Let's talk about some Common Rider.
Let's.
We watched Common Rider Gav episode 21 this week, and it is fully the fallout from the big revelation last episode where Hanto finds out that Shoma is a Granute, and not only is he a Granute, he is a member of the Stomach family.
Which even got a weird little splash screen in the show of like the words written in the sky. And Shoma went into this weird dark hole. And the the words just resonated through his whole soul, I guess.
I wrote down multiple instances throughout the show of like this was really cool filming, and that was the first one of them. Was like, oh, that's a neat little effect that you guys did that you didn't have to do. The actual thing that showed up in the sky was the words because you're one of the stomach family, and yeah, that's the thing that apparently resonated so deeply with Shoma. They once again here do the quick like little like replay of the thing that happened last time. So, you gotta replay it for all the kids who didn't watch it last week, I guess.
Glad broke their heart, all their hearts again.
Yep. And of course we get the punch, we get Hanto storming out very angrily, which we all know happened. But Lakia here is amazing because he like watches all this go down. He's very calm. When Hanto's gone, he's like, well, it's time for you to drop the backstory. Like, let's hear it.
I appreciated the Shoma Hanto fight only because we've finally gone a full Hallmark movie with this. Because Shoma starts to explain, and Shoma Hanto's like, "I don't remember asking you to explain yourself right now," and like he just storms off, and
Yeah.
that's the classic trope of like if we took 30 seconds to have the conversation, none of this would probably be an issue going forward. But of course, we don't. The only way we're building tension is if some weird little incident, some inciting incident breaks them apart. They need time to soul search to get back together.
That is the trope, but then they do circumvent it later because in probably my favorite scene of the episode, they have an awesome one where Hanto's by himself and he like very reasonably sort of like logics through it all where he's like, all right, so like I've trusted Hanto for I've trusted Shoma for a long time. What I've seen where what I found out is bad stuff. But I've trusted him. Now these people are free and I know that Vram, captured these people, so it seems like maybe it seems like maybe Shoma talked him into letting them go. And I know that they killed his mother, so that would be a reason he wouldn't like the stomach family. So what I need to do is I need to just go talk to him. And I thought
Yeah,
that
like
was cool. Like it took he was mad at first, but he talked himself through it. He used his investigative journalist skills and he decided that he was going to go have a talk with Shoma. He was going to go, put it face to face.
yeah, like all that was all that was amazing just because it ended up. I guess we'll jump around like usual. Like it ended up that specific part wrapping up with him basically seeing Shoma fuck around once again. Like to
Yeah.
use the whole dating thing. Like he basically like his partner said, "Hey, like it seems like I was cheating on you. I wasn't cheating on you. I promise I wasn't. Like it looks really suspect." Hanto storms off like, "No, I know you were." Goes home, logics it out, and goes, "No, but like he's never presented as that kind of person. Like anything good that I've been around for, he's saved all these people. He got, like you said, Laganine to release all the other people. Like I've seen him free people. I've seen him protect me. I remember when they were fighting Glada. Like they were fighting Glada. I know she hates us. She hates them. This all makes sense to me." And he basically like went back to the bar a second time, and then once again saw his partner dancing with the same lady,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I fucking trusted you." And again, like we're playing this whole thing back again. But it was such a good swerve, or not like swerve, but it seems more like realistic. Like this is obviously a huge trauma point for their little group, and sometimes you don't get over it right away. You can
Yeah.
do all the mental gymnastics you want to, and then you just get reminded again of like, no, but you fucked me over. Like no matter what, like I can't get past this one thing. You fucked me over, and just it always sticks.
It felt so real because like a lot of times in movies and shows like this, you'll have the person storm off, be really mad, not listen to reason. Where, like you said, if you just stopped for 5 seconds, we can explain this and it would all be okay. But you have the character storm off, and then you have him like behave very like unrealistically, where refuses to listen, refuses to think things through, and just kind of operates on blind rage because that's what the show needs him to do to progress. And like the fact that we got him to like think this through. You just never see things like that in TV really. And I thought that was cool. But then the fact that the show had this like perfect reason to throw him back into the rage mode was awesome. Like, what a cool what a cool thing to show him, the sexy lady dancing up on your man at the bar again. Uh, I really really enjoy that twist because like we've talked about it throughout this whole like Shoma Hanto like relationship, if you will, of them finding different ways to sort of morph the missing information that both sides have and that Hanto has, and like they're presenting it in different ways, and like introducing Vram was a whole different wrinkle to it, and now introducing Dark Shoma is a whole other wrinkle where there's like, oh yeah, he's definitely not going to believe you for a while because he literally is seeing you walk around and do these horrible things. I'm really impressed with the plotting so far in this episode, or the whole show, I guess. And Toby, I don't know if you noticed, back to the very beginning, we get to see Lakia in the intro now. He's included in some of the scenes in the intro.
So I've actually been skipping the intro ever since like I've heard the song enough now. It's
Uh-huh.
no it's no pop punk Toby jam. So I do skip it. So I did not notice that, but we've said other times. This show, Sentai, all of them are all very good about like adjusting the intros as it goes to add new people, new things. Like Boom Boonger, whenever someone retires from the team, they always like cut them out of the intro, which I think is an interesting thing to do.
Yeah.
So like all of the Toku properties are actually amazing about like adjusting like even spoilers in the intros as we go, just to keep it interesting for people
Yeah.
that actually watch it, unlike me anymore.
It's cool. Yeah, you don't see like US shows doing that. I guess US shows don't have intros really much anymore. Since like Breaking Bad, we don't get a lot of intros and intro songs and stuff, but um yeah, we typically don't ever really see them being updated like mid-season either. But it's
Like
cool when it happens.
like the only time it would happen in a more Americanized show is literally like a brand new super famous person joins the show and they're like,
You
there's no way that we're not putting them in the credits. Like find like financially or their business contracts states like, oh no, I'm getting like top billing now. I'm gonna be the first face that pops up while the theme songs playing. Like that would be the closest adjacent thing,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think.
That is true. Um, Lakia, for his part here, Toby does trust Shoma. He has a funny explanation. He was like, I mean, you literally just helped me raid the Stomach Family factory, so I trust you. But I really liked that he was like, but I don't think I'm gonna get along with Valen.
Yeah, like
he he's great. Yeah, he says the humans are weak and fragile. He doesn't want to have to watch his back the whole time.
those two are hilarious because I both know that we are doing it too much, but it just seems topical. If we're looking at this whole thing as like an actual quote unquote love triangle, it's all like your new lady or your new guy like throwing shade at your ex of like, yeah, like he was always soft though. Like you don't want to hang out with someone like he's too emotionally driven and just doesn't get us. Like he's a human and we're both grenades. Like he doesn't get us. And Shom was like, I guess like so they do a really good job with that. I think of keeping because even like his one comment, like you said about like humans are too emotional or too reactive, blah blah blah. They're doing a very good job of keeping everyone polarized. Where like
Yeah,
Hanto is obviously pure human and like has all the human emotions, all the human traits. Shoma's the weird mix of like no thought. I don't live on this planet. Like I don't have the emotional reactions that Hanto does as like the mid tier. And then Loggy 9 is the polar opposite where he's like, I have none of these emotions and give no fucks about any of this. I'm just here. So I think like that they actually did like a good job of writing for all three of them to keep them at all like polar opposites of their triangle to make it like it's just a real good mix of personality traits and like the backstories of where they're coming from for their personality traits, I guess.
yeah, I agree. And I mean, like, it's not even joking. Like that speech from Vraham is literally like humans are weak and humans are like weak and fragile. Leave him, he'll drag you down. That's literally what he says. So yeah, it doesn't get more like love triangle-y than that. Hanto goes and visits Suga some more. I thought this scene was interesting because Suga reveals more of what he knows to Hanto here, including that Vram's behind the disappearances, and he assumed and kind of figured out that Shoma was a Granute. And then Hanto does a stare down with him
The
to see if he's telling the truth, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, like the weird stare down was amazing because Hanto actually looks stressed and pissed.
Yeah,
And the actor that plays Suga has the best goofy, like, to say it's a blank face is doing him an injustice.
yeah,
But his face of like, yes, I'm looking at you and we're conversing, but like this is funny to me. Like he gives him this real like good dry smirk, happy stare, just like haha, this is a funny thing. So they cut back and forth between the two of them. And it looks amazing. And Suga has almost like weird ticks or twitches where like he'll smirk and like fix his glasses, or he'll shrug and like fix his hair. And he's like so good at playing like an aloof dick. It's amazing.
he is. Yeah, yeah. He comes across as just like completely nonplussed by everything, very like detached and above it all. And yeah, it just comes off as just like just the smarmiest jerk. Yeah, like I don't really care about your problems, but it's interesting to me. So I will I will gawk at you while you're having a panic attack, and I'll grin about it. Yeah, he's fantastic. Uh, we do get a quick little update on the Stomach family as well right after this. Um, we get the update for the boss man, where he's like basically it's like what the hell he was Ram this whole time. It was Laga 9. Why would he do this to us? And they play a bit of the blame game of like whose fault it is. Um, I think the notable part from this scene though is that we find out that um Lagana's brother Kamal did actually work for them. They like pull up the record to show that he actually was an employee.
Yeah, and they're
'Cause
like, are like, oh yeah, no wonder he's pissed. That makes sense. Like
yeah.
we definitely fucked these people over.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, he worked for us until someone took him out. So yeah, that does check out. This was another kind of it was a cool filming moment, but the editing made it terrible. Where they did a cool like they slowly pulled back the camera on their sort of like boardroom table very slowly as they're talking, which is cool. It's a cool shot, except they didn't like anchor the CG background correctly. So it's like wobbling around like crazy, and like it's going to give you motion sickness if you pay attention to it while it's happening. So it was a real bummer where it's like, "Oh cool, like the physical filming of these actors was awesome, but the CG just ruins it." And I think that might be my moment of like worst CG in Common Rider so far that we've seen is that scene. It was so bad. We get some more cool filming. I thought when Shoma and Sachika have their little scene. Sachika is wanting to celebrate because Takeshi made it home. And in the scene, Shoma basically is debating with himself of whether he should tell Sachika that he's a Granute because he knows it went so bad because he kept a secret from Hanto, so he doesn't want to keep a secret from Sachika anymore. But he's like debating whether he should tell her or not. And they do this thing where they do this cool like zoom sort of behind each person, but they just like rotate the camera, so it's like one continuous motion between each of them. They didn't have to film it that way, but it looks very cool. I thought that was a neat way to sort of like bounce between both perspectives.
I'm actually pissed that after all the things that Shoma just dealt with Hanto, that he still lied to Chica about all this. Like it seemed like he was gonna get close. He's like she knows he's upset, and she probably knows he's a monster or whatever we're gonna call what Shoma is. Like it seems like she knows, and it seems like she's like we said long, long ago now. I think of all of them that when Shoma tells her like, "Hey, I'm a Grenade, I'm a monster," blah blah, blah, that she'll be the one that's just like, "Oh yeah, I know, I don't care." She's like, you're still deliciosa, you're still my buddy." So like they showed it in her face of like she was expecting the conversation, and then he's just like, "Oh no, never mind, I can't." And it's just so irritating because I know it obviously makes the show work, but if you just lost, like, he has 2 friends in this world. That's all he really has to talk to. I guess we'll call Log and 9 and a new one, so maybe back up to 3. But he has almost no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And the fact that he saw how mad Hanto was, and he's like got punched in the face, and like he got the whole like "fuck you, you're not my friend, get away from me" thing. You would think the person actually took him in first and gives him a house and a home, even if you thought she was going to take it horribly. I don't think she would punch him in the face, and like it seems like you just pulled the band-aid off, like because all that has to happen now is Hanto talks to her and is like, "Hey, he's a monster. He's a piece of shit." Like he does it later in the episode
Yeah,
when
that
Shoma's
does happen.
missing, where he's like, "Stay away from Shoma. He's an actual monster. He's a nightmare. Lock the doors. Don't let him come in here." So by like having his like inaction, I guess we'll call it, like he's losing her more in theory in show lore by not being honest with her and having other people tell her the story of who he is versus if he just would have came out with, "Hey, like this is who I am. This is what happened. Blah blah blah."
Yeah, that's probably pretty human though. Like to if you have a bombshell secret and you're like, "Well, I should say it, but like I know if I say it, it's going to be a big thing right now. But maybe if I don't say it, it won't be a big thing until later." I feel like it's a very human emotion, especially after you've like just lost a friend to the exact same secret. You might want to you might have some hesitation about telling someone else even though it's like logically the right thing to do. Like you know, I won't fault the character for that. There's probably most people wouldn't fess up at that point.
I don't know. He's supposed to be a better boy than that. This is this is horrible of him.
He was trying to be, but he got a little spooked. And he like wanders around after that and he's like, "Yeah, I should have told her. She knows I'm being weird now."
Like, especially he's like, because she made him like the best snack sweets party ever.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Hey, buddy, when you're down, I know you love sweets." And then even when he was eating all this happy stuff, he wasn't pooping out Cheezos.
No, he
Oh,
was
excuse
not.
me. And she was like, "No, man, like you really seem off. Like I can tell something's wrong with you. Just tell me what's going on." And he's like, nothing. These snacks are good. I'm gonna go get more." So he leaves and he's like, "Well, now what snack am I gonna go get?" And he has like this whole moment of like, "Well, if I go back, I need to bring a treat back at least." And he like panics and he knows what he should be doing. He's just not doing it like a
He's
little
just not
jerk.
doing it. Yeah. And Toby, I wanted so badly to have like a macaron gochizo, and they didn't give it to me. Damn it! They talk about the macarons. Sachika loves them. They show them up close, and they didn't make a gochizo.
From going through and like clicking through the scenes as we talk, she even has macaroon pillows in that room. Like
Oh,
she's like die hard. That's her favorite thing.
she's in deep. I'm with her. They're delicious.
They are. They're
I,
always
I,
expensive, but they are good.
they are very expensive. Yeah. I listen. I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to them, and like the like cheapo ones from the grocery store, not worth getting. Just they're not the same. You got to get the expensive ones. It's just you're gonna pay for but the quality's gonna be worth it. Uh, Toby Shoma collapses as well when he's out on his own. He has like another weird little like brain flash, and he falls down in a stairwell.
His
And
little
I think,
belly grumbles were too
yeah,
much.
I think that's the last we see of him in this episode too. Uh, and then of course, yes, we've been kind of dancing around it, but Dark Shoma appears. Hanto sees him. And this is ostensibly, I guess we don't get official confirmation of it, but this is ostensibly the clone that Suga created, is what we are, I think, intended to believe here. And he's a full on monster. Yeah. So he looks just like Shoma, but he's dressed in dark clothing. That's how you know he's Dark Shoma. And the first thing that we see him do is basically destroy a like yatai food stand and just eat all of the food that's there and throw the guy down who's trying to man it. And he eats like a ravenous monster. He eats like a dinosaur from T-Rex or something, or from the Jurassic Park or something, like the T-Rex. He's just like rending it side to side. It's ridiculous.
It's funny because like obviously the crux of it is the clone, I guess, is too stupid, or the brain is not developed in a way where he knows he's supposed to eat like delicious treats, and instead just goes for actual human food.
Yeah, he's figuring it out.
So yeah, so his stomach keeps making like the crazy ass gurgle noises, and it's like, oh, like these snacks aren't good. This isn't good. He trashes like a spaghetti house, which is a crazy thing to do. But he finds his delicious treats, and then we get the a sick new form. But before that, I was laughing because Shoma is basically doing. I guess it's the easiest way to do it. But he's like did like the dark Kawa, the dark emo Spider Man of like, oh, we're gonna dress you a little bit darker. We'll ruffle up your hair just to make like the hair stands out a bit more. But he definitely has the goofy like I'm supposed to look evil, but I don't look
Yeah.
to him.
Well, he still has to be convincing enough to be Shoma for Hanto to be convinced, right? So, like, yes, he's gonna wear his dark shirt, but like, he still has to look like himself, which is funny because then it's
So
just like happy boy, but he's was wearing a dark shirt and he's evil.
one of my notes even was like when Hanto's doing his reflection of no, Shoma's not a piece of shit, and he sees like I'm gonna name him Foma now, like
Okay.
Faux ma.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
So Hanto sees Foma walking by, and he's like, "Oh, there's my friend. I'm gonna tell him I apologize to him." He notices him. Uh, Fake Shoma disappears, walks off, and Hanto's like, "Oh, I was so close." And then I thought about it, and ostensibly, as long as Hanto has known actual Shoma, he's worn that neon starter jacket looking hoodie with the zippers on his stomach. The
Yeah.
entire time he's known him. Always the same outfit, unless they're dressing up as reindeer or whatever else. How would you see or notice this person all in full black all the time now? And just be like, oh, it has to be the same guy. Like, yes, people change their clothes, but that's in the real world. And that's not the world these people live in. And that part
No.
seems extra silly to me.
Yeah, these people live in a Simpsons world where they're in the exact same clothes every single day, and then suddenly it's different. And then yeah, he's spotting him from like underneath a bridge. You're like, oh, that's my guy right there. That is very funny. So yeah, he tears up restaurants. You mentioned he tears up the spaghetti restaurant. This is where a very funny scene happens, where where Hanto goes into this restaurant and he watches a video on some random guy's phone, and the guy has gotten such a perfect video, you can tell that it's Shoma. And then he shows him like pictures on Twitter where again you get this like perfectly framed photo of Shoma, which is like, could you imagine if there really was a crazy person like eating at a restaurant, like tearing the whole restaurant apart? Someone's just gonna get right up in his face and take a perfect photo. Like you can see him so clearly. This is very funny.
Yeah, like overall, the whole thing with what I guess will be Dark Shoma going forward, like it's set up well, obviously because of the fact that like this is how we have to progress, and when Hanto's in his darkest, that's when so is Shoma, and that's kind of cool.
Hmm.
But it's just so goofy. Like we had, we didn't have the dark character last season, but we did have it in Geats, and it's like I don't know. It's also just a goofy trope to me of like, oh well, since Shoma's friends hate him, let's just make him evil for a little bit too. And I think that's just a weird cop out of how to deal with the situation, but it's fine. And obviously, it's
Yeah.
not Shoma, but it's Shoma.
Yeah, at least this one isn't Shoma, because like in Geats it was like it was actually Kawa. It's like he just is just gonna be a little bit of a jerk for a while. Um, we also he breaks in and like destroys a a convenience store, which was good, and then he just like kind of murders an elderly woman. At this point, he throws her outside. He like steps on her, and this is when Hanto shows up to actually fight him. And this is where we finally get Dark Shoma, Foma, if you want to, actually figures out finally when he tries his sparkling, no, sorry, his sparking gummies. He finally creates a Gochizo, and he finally henshins. We get to see, first of all, the dark colored driver, which is very cool.
Yeah, the that color scheme. I mean, it goes well with the situation, but they're like they're buckles now. read to me as like Autobots versus Decepticons. Like it's either the bright red or the dark purple. It's real good.
Yeah, super, super good. He cranks it backwards, which I thought was cool. Like he holds it in reverse. And this whole henshin, what a fucking henshin, man.
It's
It
good.
is
It's real good.
it's so good. Like all of his mannerisms, and it's like he's being torn apart from the inside. He goes inside the like crazy, soda bottle and then like bursts out of it. The whole thing is so crazy over the top, and it's incredible. And then yeah, we get our first view of what we know is Bitter Gav. We don't actually get that name. I don't think in this episode, but that is what he's called based on all the other material that I've seen so far. But what do you think about Bitter Gav?
I think that the suit's amazing. The suit's really sick. Um, it'll be a good plot point for an episode or two. We just have to like it'll be a weird thing to see how they get out of this, I guess, at this
It will
point.
be. Yeah.
But the henshin was awesome. Like the building up the soda bottle and real good for everything. I'm just it's a good angle to start. I'm just curious now of what the ending part is. So I guess that's good writing. Where now I'm intrigued of like how's this gonna wrap up? Because right now it seems real suspect.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think as far as just the suit goes, I think it's a really good. Like it has design elements from the the regular Gav suit, but like is very much its own thing. Looks way scarier and darker and fits an evil character. Yeah, I think it's a real win. I really really like the suit. And then this fight, this character is so insane and has not really like existed with a body for very long. So when he starts this fight, he like is using too much power and like literally breaking his arms and having to like fix
Snap them
them.
back together and like all
Yeah,
sorts of weird crazy shit. Yeah.
it's so cool. That's such a neat way to like show how like inhuman he is and like kind of like how much of a monster he is. Just like, oops, broke my arm, better fix it real quick.
How
uh
does this work?
yeah, he literally is like this crazy, just this grotesque monster basically. I thought that was a really cool touch for him. And I love that all that's happening, and not once is Valen being like, that's weird, I've never seen Shoma do that before.
well, I mean, like, and so at least like tied to that part, like obviously the whole thing is just like he's that mad that he's like, yeah, he would be acting like an asshole like this now.
Yeah.
But it's just funny where it's like he like Hanto's flaw in all of this is he's just going like so hard at his friend that even after giving himself his little pep talk of like, oh yeah, he would never do this. Like I know him. He's not this kind of person. He's a good guy. He helped try to save people. He did this. Like he forgets all of it immediately just to be like, yeah, he would be a dark guy and freaking snap out and kill everybody. Like what an asshole.
Yeah, this piece of shit. This all tracks for my anger that I'm seeing right now. Valen has a really cool henshin in this fight too. I don't know if you remember, where he gets like kind of thrown through the air. So he shoots his gun on the ground that he's gonna land on to make the little chocolate puddle. So
Yeah,
that way when he like hits the ground, he henshins as he hits the ground. It was very cool. But
yeah.
yeah, they get into a fight here. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know. You're good. Keep going.
Yeah. So they get into their little fight. The fight's very good as usual. We've come to expect really good choreography, I think, in these fights. But they are, I guess, interrupted by Kamen Rider Vram. So the scenes we hadn't talked about, Lakia is kind of back in his lair and he's sort of like thinking things through. Like, okay, so I can't get back into the stomach company because I don't have my phone anymore and I don't have access to any of the drop spots. So, and then he realizes like what Shoma would do. He was like, ah, damn it. He puts in the legwork, doesn't he?
Yeah,
So there's
he was definitely like, oh, he's actually like been looking into these things. He actually researches things because he thought about the day that Shoma found him towards the beginning, and he was like, "Oh yeah," he was asking me questions like where people were. Like he wasn't just getting weird updates. Like he was actually like working. researching, trying to figure out what the hell's going on here.
Yeah. So lo and behold, he gives that a shot. He goes out walking. So when he sees them fighting, he was like, wow, you walk around, you start running into things, which I thought was a funny thing. And then he joins the fight, and he shoots Bitter Gav. He doesn't shoot he doesn't shoot Valen, of course. So it'll be interesting to see if Valen is like, oh, you're helping me. Like it'll be interesting to see the reaction, I think, to Vram entering the fight when we get to next episode because of that.
I mean, in general, I think all these things have real good setup for all sorts of the quote unquote human drama, I guess we'll call it, from the not really human people, but there's a lot of potential here. A lot
There
of
is.
potential here.
There is. Well, that brings us to the end of our sort of episode breakdown. But let's jump over to some emails because we got an email this week. You can send those to cast@commonwritersucks.com. We got an email this week from our friend Shade, who has some information about the episode as well. Shade says Shoma did a Spider-Man 3, which is
See?
too perfect. Yeah. Shade says, ladies and gentlemen, there's something I would like to confess. I wasn't paying attention to Boon Boom Drew's episode count and unintentionally misinformed you guys on some stuff. And for that, I would like to formally apologize.
As it should be. Thank you.
We were off by one in our estimation on when Boon Boom Drew would end last week. So that's what Shade is talking about there. Shade does say, in my defense, it's pretty weird for Toei to release a prologue 2 weeks in advance, so I blame them. But yeah, Shade has some interesting tidbits from the producer's blog. So they talk about Dark Shoma, which is the part I found interesting here. They said Shoma's costume usually has a lot of colors and highly saturated color schemes. So this monochrome, almost black outfit gives a completely different impression.
Yeah, it does.
And then they explained that they were shooting back and forth. So the actor was like doing some scenes as Dark Shoma and then some scenes as regular Shoma. So that's why they couldn't really do like big changes in hairstyle and stuff. So they basically just had like his facial expressions and his posture and his clothes to kind of give the different impression. But they said that the actor who's trying out a new acting style is very lively in every scene, and director Tazaki was smiling as he cut the scene, saying, "That's fun."
There was a part where I think it was in the spaghetti place. It was definitely one of his feeding frenzy eating things where Shoma puts on like the best like I'm the Joker look on
Uh-huh.
his face of like I'm wild and crazy and I'm losing my mind, and like he did a really good job with it.
He did, yeah, for sure. It's gotta be fun too after being like the happy-go-lucky, like Boy Scout character to then be like the crazy monster character too. Like that's gotta be a fun juxtaposition.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
They also tell us that the civilians in the convenience store scene are highly professional stunt actors, so you don't have to worry about the old lady that he murdered.
That seems crazy that the old ladies that I would think the lifespan or the work timeline of a stunt person seems like a young person's game. But
I would think so
whenever
too.
there's like older people doing it, it's always crazy to me. Like I mean, more power to them. I know I couldn't do it. Like I said last week, I can barely walk sometimes. But like it just seems crazy that there's like old stunt people.
Yeah, it could be. The person had like a beanie on and stuff too. So like, I think in a lot of cases they'll like have a younger person than you realize in a role like that, but they'll have them done up in a way that your brain just reads them as older. So
Yeah.
that could be what's happening here too. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's interesting. And then Shade tells us about the gochizo that forms bitter gav, which is cola flavored gummies, which are not things that I was really aware of before this. But Shade sends us some
Wait,
pictures.
you?
Yeah, I didn't.
You Josh?
Yeah.
They
What
sell
about me?
gummy cola bottles everywhere in America.
I've never interacted with these. I don't know anything about them. I'm
That's
googling now
embarrassing.
and I see them. So are they Are they like they're just gummies, but they just taste like soda?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Like, do you know there's like gummy peaches and gummy watermelons and gummy apples? Like, there's gummy everything. Like
Yeah.
the soda ones are like the least shocking one to me of anything, to be honest with you.
I don't really like gummy candy that much. So, I've never really explored, I guess, the depth of gummy candy, but you can get, I just found it, Haribo Fizzy Cola even. So they have Happy Cola and they have Fizzy Cola,
Yeah. They
which
even
looks
have
like it.
cherry. They even have cherry cola ones. It's not cherry Coke.
Dang.
It's cherry cola. Just remember that.
Yeah, it can't be Coke. Come on, come on. Smarty Stop Sour Cola Bottle Gummy Candy Cherry 1 pound. How much do you?
That sounds like an anime name.
It really does. How much do you think a pound of gummy soda bottles are on Amazon?
For us, like shipping from America to America,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna say $40.
$12 for a pound.
Hell yeah.
That seems low. I don't know.
No, candy's like that seems high.
Does
Like
it?
like places that have candy and stuff still. It's usually like $8 a pound, $9 a pound. Like the assorted grab bag, get yourself some snacks kind of stuff.
Here's a 5 pound bag for $20. So that's even better of a deal. It's not Haribo brand, but
A gummy is a gummy.
gummy's a gummy. Just make sure you don't get the adult gummies for Shoma. He'd transform into something way different for that thing.
That'd be a fun vibe if Shoma was a little looped out on his gummies.
Dude, if Shoma was just like off a gummy, so it wasn't really dark Shoma, it was just high Shoma. That'd be a great episode. They should do that.
That's how they're all gonna get back together in friendship. They're
Maybe.
gonna they're all gonna eat some gummies together, and Shoma's they're all yeah, that works. They're all gonna have gummies together because Shoma's gonna be like, "Oh, when I eat a gummy, it makes me happy, and my tummy does things." Blah blah blah, and they're all gonna laugh and be friends. And then it's gonna come back, and they're gonna be high. And he's gonna be like, "Oh, I guess humans act differently when they eat these things. That's weird. That's quirky."
I kind of want the scene where like he's explaining to Sachika, yeah, like so I eat the gummy and it makes me feel happy, and Sachika's like, yeah, I like edibles too. Why are you telling me this?
And I know you're a monster. Why are you so fucking weird today, dude?
Shade goes on in the producer's blog to tell us that the suit actor for Bitter Gav is Nakata Yuki, who previously played Kamen Rider Geats and Genom. Shade says the man definitely has range. A quote is, to express the character fighting without knowing how much strength to use, there is an action scene where he fights while trying to return his joints to their original position after they've come out of place. Chinin, who is Shoma, also took on the challenge of using a different voice tone than usual and speaking at a tempo that is not typical of a hero. It's refreshing to see him holding the bitter Gav blade, which he created so heavily.
Yeah, they did good. They did do good. Hey, let's put weight on this item thing. When he was trying to pick up the sword, it actually
They
seemed
did.
like hefty and tough to swing around and all that stuff.
Yeah, they've done really good with that stuff in this show, where they typically don't. It typically looks like all that stuff is plastic, and this show a couple times has really added some weight to those weapons, which I appreciate. And the last interesting tidbit the Shade shares with us is that Longo's actor, we haven't seen him on screen a ton lately because the actor was busy filming other shows. So Shade says that his reaction to the whole ordeal unfolding, where he's like, "Wait, what happened?" was probably real. he's he's coming back in and he has no idea what's been happening because he hasn't been around. Shade says, anyways, that's it for today. I'm off to watch Boon Boomjer and Red Ranger Isekai again. Very excited for the end of Boon Boomjer. Can't wait for them to beat up mob boss Michael Jackson.
There you go. The greatest finale.
Yep. So thanks very much, Shade, for that email. And Toby, we have one more email for me to read. Comes in from our friend Carl.
Yeah. We're gonna have some ideas today, everyone. We're gonna have some ideas today.
Carl says, here bringing you another round of exciting business ideas for the week. With Valentine's Day just around the corner, it's the perfect time to surprise your loved ones and your listeners with some unique and creative ideas, all thought up by you as always.
I was gonna say that the sales pitch already sounds like AI.
I thought that last time when we read a Carl email was that it sounded all very AI based. I'm thinking that that's where Carl's getting his inspiration from. Is he's out there friggin' talking to Grok and then just sending us the raw the raw Grok data.
If that's true, I don't want you to stop. I want to throw it out there. Like, you keep doing this insanity that we're bringing to the table here, but the way the wording was in the beginning of that, he Carl's either a professional marketer or is asking for marketing tips from external sources.
Yeah, I think so. The first business idea, Toby, is Valen's Viagra. Imagine entering the medical industry with a fun twist. You and Toby could create Common Rider themed Viagra pills similar to those gas station pills like the Blue Rhino. These pills would be coated with chocolate, offering a sweet sensation while you take them. No embarrassment, just a unique experience. And then a quote, Valen's Viagra. When your hero is in need of a henshin connection, Valen's is here to boost your erection. All right. First of all, Carl, we can't say Viagra. That's a brand already. So we
Yeah,
got to
you
come up with
probably
a different name.
that is a good rhyme though. That's a fantastic rhyme.
It is a good rhyme. Yeah, it's a very good rhyme. But yeah, we'll have to workshop that one a bit more because we can't come up with a new product and call it like Carl's Kleenexes. You understand, Carl? It's got to be it's got to be something that isn't already a name brand. Toby, I've got the perfect name for a soda. It's Coca-Cola. Do you think we should? You think we should run with it?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Will there be real Coke in our Coca Cola? That could be the
Uh,
game changer.
yeah, obviously, yeah. The next business idea is Glada's Guilty Glow, a sensual, heated pleasure lotion designed to elevate every touch, leaving the skin warm, tingling, and irresistibly soft. Infused with aphrodisiac botanicals, silk extracts, and a hint of black vanilla, this luxurious formula melts into the skin, awakening desires and intensifying intimate moments. Glada's Guilty Glow. Glow, seduce, and surrender to desire. Now, that one's pretty good. I like that one.
All right, Carl. We won't read it on the podcast. I want to know if you're actually a marketing person or if these are all coming from someplace else.
Yeah.
Because that one's actually genius and sounds like a real sales pitch. And I'm gonna subtweet you lots of due credit if you're actually coming up with these by yourself. But I want to know. I won't ruin it for anybody else. But I deep down want to know how real this is.
Yeah. Let us know and we'll keep your secret. The next one, Toby, Comment Rider's Climax Cream, a warming massage cream that's all about igniting your inner hero. Inspired by the powerful transformative energy of a rider's final form, the luxurious formula will leave you feeling empowered as Toby and Josh are both in and out of the bedroom. Why are we involved in that one? Comet Rider's Climax Cream, unleash the hero within. A lot of creams and lotions here in these ideas as well. Uh, which some people are into. It's kind
Yeah,
of kind
go
of
for it.
messy for me. It was fine. And then then Carl says your request. In my last email, Toby requested the audio to be separated from the podcast based on what Josh had read. However, as with every monkey's paw, there's a downside. I've also included and attached an audio clip of something embarrassing Toby has said.
I would
So
never.
so last time Carl made me read the words Bukkake surprise, if anyone remembers. So Carl has clipped that where I said Bukkake surprise and sent that along as an MP3 file. So I have two MP3 files attached to this email, Toby, that I've listened to. The first is BK surprise, which is me saying Bukkake surprise. BK surprise.mp3. The other one, Toby, which is you, is labeled I want cum.mp3. And it's you. He's like cut off a word where you're saying I want cum, but it's you're not saying the word come, you're saying something else, and he's just cut you off to make it sound like you've said that. So your good name is being besmirched here.
That's the way it should be. I'm
Yeah.
glad we got to the level where people will edit the things I say into worse things. That
It
feels
is
like that feels like a step up.
it is good. Carl says, y'all take care. Subscribe to the Patreon and have a wonderful holiday. Ride her like a true champion. Sincerely, Carl. Oh, what are we doing here? What have we done is what I want to know. What have we done?
We made a we we've made it we've dug our own dark scary hole, and
Is
people
it
just keep fall and people are falling down it.
they do keep falling down. Isn't it fun building community, Toby?
Oh yeah, this feels great. When
Once
I
again, if you want to send those emails, send them into cast@commonwritersucks.com.
there's a time in my life where people might go through this. It might be next year, it might be 10 years, it might be whatever. But there's a legacy being built here, and at some point, part of my legacy will be all these things, and I have feelings about that.
One day we're all gonna be gone, but I want cum.mp3 will last.
If it was
Some
easy to buy the
server some server somewhere is just gonna still have a copy of I want cum.mp3.
if that can be like the tape from The Ring, that somehow that can live on forever and just get passed around and like, wow, what is this from? What's this ancient technology? That would be really be great. That's gonna be my dying wish.
I like
Said
it.
now.
Toby, I haven't had a more terrifying file download than when I clicked on I want cum.mp3. It was like, boy, this could go real bad for me here. I don't
It's like
know.
it's like the good old days of LimeWire or Kazaa.
It
Like
really,
I,
really
I think
is.
I know what I'm getting, but who knows?
Yeah, except this time, like, I was hoping that it was like Superman by Three Doors Down, where the other time it was the other way around, where I was hoping for something better, and I just got Superman by Three Doors Down. Well, that's gonna wrap up the email section for us, Toby, and I think that's also gonna bring us to the close of the podcast. So, why don't you tell the people where they can find you on the internet?
On XC Everything app, it's Life of Tobes. On YouTube, it's Tobes Plays, where we are now playing through Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Ichiban's Grand Adventure to America, which is really throwing me off when like, because basically like I always play the games in Japanese, so I'm so used to hearing Japanese and reading Japanese or trying to. Where now that we're in America and you get dollars and people just talk in English, at first, like in a funny way, it's like, wow, I just understand Japanese. It sounds like English to me, but it's actually just English, so it's a little bit weird. We're doing
What
that
what
over there,
what part of America are they in? It's Hawaii, right?
yeah,
Okay,
like it's
got it.
straight to. Because then I had a moment of like, if the game, like the old Yakuza games, are always very location driven, and they're close enough where if you go to the real life city, like you feel like you're there, and I know Camarocho by the back of my hand at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a real place, but there's like the big gates there. You can get pretty close. So I was thinking like it'd be cool if he came to a city that was by me. That was like I distinctly know where we are, but none of that would be like cool or like exotic or fun. It would just be like a shithole city. And I was like, I guess that'll never happen. But yeah, but in general, it's fun to be in America and it's a weird vibe. And finally, you can find my retro achievements at not at Tobes Plays, but Tobes Plays, where we're starting to hit the plateau of ranking up, but I am a top 5% gamer there. So if you want to follow those antics, you're more than welcome to.
Wonderful. You can find me on Blue Sky. That's really the only social media I'm on anymore these days at meek.lol. And I realized that I had an old Twitter account still, like one that had been like inactive for a long time, but it still existed. I'd forgotten about it. So I got an email about it. So I was like, oh, I should like log into that and delete it as well. So I've gotten so far as I reset the password so I could log in. I got in, and then I just like yelled at Grok about Elon Musk being a Nazi for a while, and that was fun. So I'll probably delete that account at some point. But Grok does not think Elon is a Nazi. Toby, I want to be clear.
That doesn't
Grok,
surprise me at all.
Grok, Grok has lots of reasons why he's not a Nazi, and he will tell you all of them if you were wondering. So that's me, meek.lol on Blue Sky. Also follow commonwritersucks.com on Blue Sky. That is the show. And yeah, subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/prettydeece for the comment writers there. And yeah, if you would like us and subscribe and review in all the various places where you listen to podcasts, that would be wonderful and always helps the show. And of course, check out the Patreon. Patreon.com/the comment writers is how you get there. And we've talked about it a lot, but sign up and check out all of our bonus content. We would love for you to do that. We'd love to have you in the Discord as well. It's very fun. I like hanging out with all you people. It's very
It'll
cool.
it'll put you right to sleep.
Yeah, you can join and instantly get lulled to sleep right there in the Comment Writers Discord. So, Toby, that is going to wrap us up for this week. We'll be back next time to see what becomes of new Dark Shoma. And we hope you join us back to talk about that. But until then, have a great week, everybody. Peace.